Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Wake Up America. The news you need to empower yourself and your fellow Americans.
Right, Ben, you won't hear any worthless news here, like what color of underwear, if any, your favorite Hollywood stars wear here. Or who is dating who on the pop scene.
Tonight, we'll be discussing the upcoming Copenhagen Climate Change Treaty, just a few weeks away, that is nothing more than framework for bringing in world government and signing away our constitutional sovereignty.
Now is the time. In an open letter in the run-up to the UN Climate Conference beginning on December 7th, UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon appeals to world leaders to come to Copenhagen and hammer out the foundation of what he hopes will eventually be an ambitious climate deal. Headlines: an article on the United Nations website written by Ban Ki-moon, the head stooge of the UN.
Right, Sally, and sadly, many don't have a clue that this climate treaty is not only a joke and a scam, but also will bring an end to what little is left of America.
Well, let's take a look at some of the ingredients of this worldwide scam.
While telling America we are bad and need to be punished for our lavishing lifestyle and need to be brought down to a level playing field with the rest of the world, this little greedy makes American taxpayers the big financier of lining the pockets of the fat cats behind the scenes, telling us that the money will be used to bring up third world nations. Karl Marx would be proud.
Not to mention our own faithful leader, President Obama, who is probably foaming at the mouth, can't get to Copenhagen quick enough to ink our name to the deal.
This treaty will undermine our Constitution, not that our leaders followed it anyway, and if signed we will not be able to get out of it unless we are allowed to, by all other participating nations, and since America will be the biggest payer to the scam, they will not let us out.
This treaty will give an unelected authority to rule over us. Our life will be controlled by unelected elitists who will decide what is best for us.
Folks, this is very dangerous. The scheme for the new institutional arrangement under the convention will be based on three basic pillars: government, facilitative mechanism, and financial mechanism.
By signing this document, the United States and other industrial nations will forever take responsibility for the ills of backwards and third world countries. This would include China and India, along with the countries of Africa. The system appears to be loaded to ensure that the world body overseeing this document is granted total control for the enforcement of the requirements of this document throughout all developed countries. Penalties for non-compliance by developed countries are scattered throughout the treaty document.
It appears that what a U.S. President and Congress could not do through the constitutional legislative process, they are attempting to do throughout this climate treaty.
The aim is to give a new, as yet unnamed UN body the power to directly intervene in the financial, economic, tax and environmental affairs of all the nations that signed the Copenhagen Treaty.
Taxes and more taxes, that's the name of the game. Starting in 2012, Dutch drivers will be paying a tax by the kilometer, something that has also been mentioned here in America.
Along with the phony carbon taxes in the cap and trade bill, all the taxes not only will be paid to private banks to punish you for living, it is also meant to break you and drive you into poverty. All another part of the world government structure. Do you enjoy paying all these scam taxes?
It is about agreeing a framework for a world government, as the UN Secretary-General clearly says. With the dollar being dead in the water, and the American production industry in the toilet, what a great time to bring in this world government to save us all.
It all goes well with the many comments made by Maurice Strong, well-known UN globalist, who is quoted as saying, and I quote, "Frankly, we may get to the point where the only way of saving the world will be for industrial civilization to collapse. And isn't the only hope for the planet that the industrialized civilizations collapse? Isn't it our responsibility to bring this about?"
What it all comes down to, folks, this is just the finalizing of a plan that has been in the works for many, many years. A world government, and it's all in the Copenhagen Treaty, all out in the open and can be found on the United Nations website. We strongly encourage every American to do the research and learn what's in this document for global enslavement.
Don't live in denial because this is really going to affect everyone. Please get in contact with your local representatives and demand this nonsense be stopped and remind them to uphold their pledge to follow the Constitution, not the whacked-out global socialists.
Well, That's all for tonight. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you'll continue to research and join us next time. Good night.